Please don't go!
It was dinner, the kind that should have felt ordinary, but the air between us carried weight heavy enough to suffocate. She lifted her eyes across the table, meeting mine for just a second before pausing mid-bite, her expression faltering. Her voice came soft, almost fragile, when she asked, "Why are you so quiet tonight?" I couldn't return her gaze immediately. Instead, I let my fork scrape against the plate, circling food I had no intention of eating, while my mind raced in a storm of tangled thoughts. When I finally let words escape, they came low, firm, edged with a sharpness she wasn't prepared for. "I'm just thinking about what I'll do when the truth finally comes out." The effect was instant. Her smile collapsed, the color draining from her cheeks as silence wrapped itself tightly around us. She tried to mask the fear flickering in her eyes, forcing a hollow laugh as she brought her wine glass to her lips. "What truth?" she asked, her voice trembling despite the effort to sound casual. I leaned back in my chair, studying her with the same patience I had shown for months. I had noticed everything, the late nights that stretched into dawn, the rushed explanations that never aligned, the cologne on her clothes that wasn't mine. I had said nothing, storing each moment like evidence, recording every lie she thought went unseen. And now, I met her eyes and spoke words that shattered her facade. "I know." Her fork slipped from her hand, crashing against the plate in a metallic clatter that echoed through the room. Her lips parted, her whisper breaking, "Know what?" But we both understood exactly what I meant. She had mistaken my silence for ignorance, assumed I was too trusting, too loyal, too blind to recognize betrayal staring me in the face. Her hand stretched across the table, trembling, reaching for mine. "It's not what you think," she pleaded, her voice carrying desperation. I pulled my hand back before her fingers could brush against me. Weeks of torment had brought me here, to this very moment, weeks of weighing whether to walk away quietly, to confront her, or to let her feel the pain she had carved so carelessly into me. Tonight, I chose the path that revealed I was never the fool she believed. "I've seen the messages," I said, steady, cutting through the air like a blade. "The late-night calls. The weekends you said were for visiting your sister. I know his name. I know where he works. I even know the hotel you two call your favorite." Her face drained pale, her lips opening and closing in search of words that couldn't save her. Tears slid down her cheeks, but I didn't move, didn't flinch. "You had the chance to be honest," I continued, my tone unwavering. "But instead, you chose lies." She begged then, promising it meant nothing, that it was a mistake, pleading for forgiveness as though words alone could undo the damage. But betrayal doesn't vanish with apologies, it lingers, it crushes, it leaves scars too deep to erase. I rose slowly, pushing my chair back, walking toward the window with deliberate calm. "What are you going to do?" she asked behind me, her voice cracking with dread. "Are you leaving me?" I stayed silent, and that silence was the answer she feared most. For weeks I had prepared for this day, transferring money, securing an apartment, consulting with a lawyer. Every step had been methodical, planned, and final. At last, I turned to face her, my decision steady as stone. "I won't fight you. You can have what you wanted, your freedom, your lover, but you won't have me. Not anymore." Her sobs grew harder, her words frantic as she claimed it was meaningless, swore she never wanted to lose me. But her choices had already carved the path she was walking. I pulled the keys from my pocket and laid them gently on the table between us. "This house, this life, we built it together. But you were willing to throw it all away. Tomorrow, you'll see the papers. I'm done pretending. She tried again to reach me, but I stepped back, watching the raw desperation etched across her face. Something inside me had broken, yes, but beneath the ruin, a clarity had risen. For too long I had lived in doubt, questioning my worth, second-guessing myself. Now, the truth cut clean, undeniable, and in its sting, it gave me strength. "Please don't do this," she whispered, choking on her tears. "We can fix it." I shook my head slowly, my voice cold, resolute. "You can't fix what you chose to destroy." The dinner between us sat untouched, the food growing cold, just like the marriage that had withered long before this night. I walked toward the door, her sobs following me, her hands clutching at my arm. But when I turned and truly looked at her, I no longer saw the woman I had loved. I saw only a stranger, buried beneath lies and shadows. The air outside struck me clean, sharp, like the first breath after months of suffocation. The road ahead would not be easy, but it would finally be mine, free from her deceit, free from the torment of questioning. I hadn't shouted, hadn't sought revenge. My calm decision to leave, my silence, would echo louder in her heart than any anger ever could. I knew she would sit at that table long after I was gone, replaying my words. "I'm just thinking about what I'll do when the truth comes out." And now she knew. Because what I did was simple. I left. And I never turned back.